Hello, my name is Ruby. I'm a registered dietitian. I have my own Instagram account where I record my journey from a student dietitian to dietetic assistant to a fully fledged registered dietitian. I think a way to describe all about me and what I do as a registered dietitian is to promote diversity within dietetics. So for me particularly, that means broadcasting and showcasting the South Asian diet, but also being inclusive of African and Caribbean diets as well. And it's not set to those boundaries. We also talk about registered dietitians who follow a different sexual orientation as well. So inclusive in so many ways, and really combating the injustice within dietetics and making sure we are meeting the needs of our patients. One of the parts of being a dietitian is translating the evidence from research papers and research articles to easy accessible information that the public can go home and take away with them. And so that's really passionate. I'm really passionate, about delivering those messages to hard to reach communities, although I don't particularly like the name. It's about making sure I can deliver the best care for my patients as well. And so dietitians don't just work in a hospital, although we do have our placements in hospital. You can see dietitians in the media, you can see dietitians in public health, they can work alongside nutritionists, but dietitians are trustworthy as we do everything in terms of evidence-based, in terms of our dietary advice that we give. Just a month ago, I was halfway through my placement as a final year student dietitian, and so being a student was quite a difficult time just because of the pandemic and NHS staff shortages. I spent my time on placement at a hospital in Chelmsford in Essex. And I was on a lot of different wards covering a lot of different specialities. So one of them was stroke, one of them was the gastro wards, some of the burns units. And it's really interesting to delve into those sort of topics and sort of find my understanding of what I like in dietetics and what I don't like. Generally, I thought the whole process of being a dietitian was quite tiring, I'm not going to lie. It's a lot more than people thinking that we sit in lab coats and telling people you can't eat this, you can eat this. It's more about meeting the requirements of patients. So if you see a dietitian running around the hospital, you'll see our big pocket guide, and it has all the equations that we need for different patient needs. And so what we sort of do a day in a life is we will go into the office first thing in the morning, and we will look at the patient's records and their details and find out a bit about more of them. So that's things like the height, the weight, if we've got any details about a referral, seeing why has someone referred them to us as dietitians. And then we would step onto the wards and go and see the patient. But before that, we would also look at medical and nursing notes. And this was just to gather more information about the patient. And some of the things that I like to do proactively as a dietitian is to call patients call patients' families to get a better understanding of what their diet was like before coming into hospital, and maybe that helps me to explain why they are not eating in hospital. And sometimes it can be a simple fact of that they're in an artificial environment. Their food is such a social thing, and it's an experience that you like to enjoy with family and friends. So being taken out of that completely in a really weird environment that is a hospital, I'd like to make it as comfortable for my patients as I can. And after I've seen the patient, I'd like to write up the notes for my patients, and then it would be assessing them and reviewing them and monitoring them over the course of their stay in hospital, to then hopefully discharging them and getting them back to their normal diet, and hopefully having a really positive impact on my patients, the best that I can. And that's sort of what I do in a day in a life. And I'm also a part-time candle business owner. This is a project I started with my sister. Her name's Rajni, and she's a speech and language therapist. And if anyone knows, within the healthcare setting, dietitians and speech and language therapists work very closely, and even more closer at home. I actually have some of our candles to showcase. So it's available to purchase. It's our brain candle. And we also have a half muscular, half skeletal candle for anyone that is interested. We do have some new releases coming out. Most recently, we have a trio of tea-light candles, which are in the shape of a vertebrae. And so if you know any physiotherapists or anyone interested into sports therapy or generally mobility or bone health, this might be the candle for you. And so this is a project alongside working in the NHS. So when we do get a free time, we'll be busy packing your orders. And so that's a bit about me. For anyone who's interested in following my student dietitian journey or dietetic assistant journey, or even now as a registered dietitian, please follow me. I'm on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. It's at rubies_recipes_. And it's so great to be working with We Are House of Medics. Thank you.